Hello, students of class 9. How are you? I'm your computer teacher Prakash Srivastav. In my last video, I told you about verbal communication. In that video, you understood about something important elements in the verbal communications. Student, you can see what I told you last in my last video. It means here you can see this there should be some important element in the verbal communication, like exchange important information, ask from the others, being a relationship, share emotions. These are some elements which we can include in our verbal communications, and like speaking face to face, speaking on the phone, email, video conferencing, and lectures and conferences. Student, then that in that video I told you about these things. So now today I will tell you something more related to the non-verbal communication and visual communications. But before watching this video, like and subscribe my channel. If you subscribe my channel, you will get next video notification on your mobile. So let's start with the non-verbal communication. Student, as we know here, non-verbal communication is a very important also, because sometimes we don't say anything and the other person understand in a proper way. So here some given the matter also you can understand ki management guru Peter Drucker says that the most important thing in the communication is hearing wasn't said. So it means here sometime we understand the other person what he wants to say, but in without the using of the such words, we able to understand by their feelings, by their way of speaking, by their body language. We understand ki what is the actual thing he wants to say. So it means sometime we try to find out ki what the other person want to say. So this can be here the non-verbal communication, means without the saying that word, we understand the idea, and we understand the things what the other person want to say here. So this is a non-verbal communication. In fact, non-verbal communication has a more powerful impact on the other person than your verbal communication. It means sometimes we don't use the word, without the saying any word the other person understand very easily, without I mean when we see them, when we want to say something, but without the single words, means our body language, our facial expression, it tells the reality what we want to say here. So it means gesture is a very important part of the speaking here. When sometime when you say something, like you when you are in a class and you want to say something to your teacher, and you want to say what is the actual thing, but you are not able to say properly, but teacher understand what do you want to say in a proper way about the particular things. So that can be as a non-verbal communication. And non-verbal communication, here the some tips to convey the positive message through a positive body language, means here can be a some guideline, you can say here is a some positive way to deliver your message to anyone here. First of all, here you can see, look into the eyes of the other person, means here you can see also proper way, look into the eyes of the other person but don't stare, means you see to the other person but don't try to stare, because that will be a bad effect on the that person. Do not fidget as it may the distract the other person, means while talking or while saying to your words to the person, don't don't move your hands or your face to here and there. It can be not effective. Arms should not be crossed at shows you are angry here. If you're talking to someone and if you have the crossed your arms, so then it will be a not a as a proper manner to speak. Always smile and never frown while talking means all when we small I mean when we talk, though never try to smile means without any reason, and don't show you are in a frown means you are in a sad mood. So this should be not means not much smile on a topic or on your words, and not much more as a I mean not to show you are the sad. So it means and not you are thinking about the other things. So it means the communication here can be a distractor. So keep first and next here, keep your body erect whether you are standing or sitting, means you should be in an erect position when you are talking to the other here. Don't be bent, don't be bend, or don't be move here and there. So it means it should be a not a for the proper communication. So it means it should be here the proper communication for the here the verbal non-verbal communication. Be properly dressed means there should be a dressing sense also, positive effect on the other persons. So these are the some you can say expression here is a given. It is a way of the thinking, it is a normal way, you can see mood here the confused mood, and here the worried. So these are the non-verbal communication means this picture showing us what the that person is thinking about. He's in a normal way, he's a confused mood, he's a worried in mood. So we can understand this thing by the by seeing the picture here, means there's no any word to describe about this picture. We can understand by seeing this picture because this is a given the expressions with that person. So here are the non-verbal communication, but one element also is important in the non-verbal communication, that is the silence. Silence you can say it is also important when we see sometime the other person without saying any word and without showing any reaction or without showing any body of language or gesture, we understand the power of the silence here. As a person interested in the communicating effectively should not underestimate the power of the silence here. So it means power is also important element in the non-verbal communications. It can be a powerful in situations where the words are not the required, as we can understand here also, given such a situation words is a not good for that person in that situations. So we prefer to use here the silence here. For example, if you are sharing somebody's grief or you can say you listen to the ideas of the other person, so then that time you should be a silence. And next here the next point here about related to the visual communications, you can see on the screen here is a visual communications is a given here. The visual communications students you can see here ki at the name suggest, as we can understand by the name here, it name suggests here ki what the communication happened with the help of the visual. It means visual effect is very important here. Visual aid is very important for delivering your information, for deliver your here the words to the person. So it means here the visual aids like as a presentations, illustrations, drawing, sign language, etc. It can be in a visual communication. And visual communication media was always used to support the written communication, but these days is replacing the written communication completely. It means the this has been the possibly partially due to the development in the technology. So here are some example of the visual communications. The visual communications in that communication we can say ki by showing the things, by showing the presentation, by showing the such a drawings, image, we can make understand to the people. So it means it can be a very effective way to tell your ideas, to tell to your views related to a particular things, related to particular topics. So it can be here a very effectively way to expressing your ideas, to make understand or to deliver your informations to the other person by showing the model, by showing the either such a image or things. So these are the some point here given. Student, you can see here showing the object being talked about the discussed. If possible, you should show the object you are discussing about to your audience. When you are talking about anything about your model, about your such a things, so you can show that model about what you are talking, so about you want to deliver the information, so you can show that things as a like as an object here. The other person will be able to understand in a proper way. And creating models, the creating models, again you can create the model for your ideas concept being discussed here. It is not always essential that you do it yourself. You can get it done by the someone else too. And model will help your audience in understanding the concept easily, because theoretical concept are always difficult to understand. So here the creating model is a very effective, is a very good for your showing the as a, I mean, deliver to your ideas, deliver to your information related to things. So it means, and it is all, it is not always essential कि you have to do you by yourself that things. You can get the help of the other person to making the models. And here the photographs also is very helpful to show the image, to show the photos here to the audience, to make them understand here what about you are discussing. So it will make them understand completely, or with effectively and quickly. As we can understand here कि if your student, if your friends tell about such a story, and which he has seen earlier, but he is delivering that story to you by verbally, so it can be not effectively. If you see that image, then you can understand in a better way by saying only words here. The photos and images is a very important, and that can be as a very helpful to understand in a proper way. And maps, we can talk about here maps also, because when we want to find such a particular place, we can see the maps, because map help us to locate and to make understand us with a proper and with a quickly way to find out the that place here. With the advancement of the technology, you have the access the application like Google also, Google Maps, which help you to detail informations about the locations and about the remotest places. So these are the some the visual communication. The student, please try to understand, and it is also written here. You can see this also by looking this the paragraph, or by looking this matter also ki what are given in the visual communications, and that's why I'm showing the all the matters one by one here. The student, move the next here, the elements of the communication process. So here this is a very important, you can say very very important elements in the communication process. When we deliver our informations to other, that the communication is in a systematic way or not. Means systematic way means the all the elements is working properly or not. Means from the sender to receiver. Sender, when we give any message to anyone, any you can say कि when we send any message to any person, means the first of all we encoding the message, developing an idea, then we deliver, and the receiver reception of the message, decoding the message, and he can accept or reject your message, and he can use the that information what you delivered in your message. So these are some elements here, and we can talk one by one here. The sender, student, you can see here is written in here is a written, you can see proper way, all things are here you can see. So here the sender is a person who wants to communicate with someone else. For example, you want to tell your younger brother about a day at a school. You are the center of the information, and manager wants to explain the steps involved in the completing project. Then he is the center of the information process. The sender, who is a sender? You can be a sender. I as a sender, I can be as a sender here. So it means when we deliver, when we want to communicate with other person, that can be as a sender here. Means when you want to tell your informations, tell you message to the other person, in that time you can be a sender. And before delivering our ideas and views and you can say thoughts, first of all we have to encode that message. That encoding message, encoding message means what we want to suggest, what we want to convey, what we want to make understand the other people here. So encoding means that is a means converting our ideas in a simplest form. So here the ideas, the message that the sender wants to convey the idea, it could be a guideline, suggestions, feelings, and piece of the text is what I told here. And encoding, it is a way of the converting your information in a simplest way here. As I discussed here, the different method in communication are visible, non-verbal, and visual communications. So you can convert your ideas in a medium that will convey it most effectively here. And next here, the communication channel means the medium, what the medium you here take as a in a aid. So here the communications means channel, means when you deliver your information, when you give your information, to what the medium you take here, what the medium can be for your sending the information. So like here, face to face communication can be telephonic conversation, email, presentation, lectures, video conferencing. It can be a medium of the communication, medium of the channel here you can say, by which way you can deliver your informations to the other person. And here receiver is a person who receives your message sent by you over the communication channel here. And here receiver, and you can say the person who receives your information. Decoding means encoding, as you have understood about encoding is a way of transferring or converting information in a simplest way because the other person can understand properly. So decoding, when you send your informations to the